Chris, great result for Bristol Rovers on the weekend, 3-0 drubbing of Swindon Town.
Yeah, it was a good performance. We've talked recently about Rovers' inconsistencies at both ends of the pitch. This time they pretty much got it right all over the park. The game was effectively done and dusted really within the first 15 minutes. Andy Williams made the first, set up the second, and it was good to see Andy Williams back up front. There'd been calls certainly from the terraces for Williams to be given a chance up front again, which is the position I think he prefers. And he certainly stood up to came up to the plate on Saturday. Yeah, it was a good win.
Given the team's fortunes have been a bit up and down of late, you're 3-0 up in 15 minutes. Fans must be getting nervous at that point, are they?
No, I don't think so. I think the manner of the win, or the manner in which Rovers sort of controlled the early part of the game. After Swindon, it has to be said, had a pretty decent first 10 minutes, but suddenly 2 goals in 3 minutes in the first half changed the complexion of the game. And then when Joker Force slammed the third in on 34 minutes, I think that really was it, done and dusted.
The result looks very good on paper, 3-0. I know our man doing the live blog from the stands, James, was saying it's one of the strongest Swindon teams he's seen for a while, so that makes it a doubly good result. Yeah,
it has to be said that I think Swindon underperformed on the day. Much had been made of their partnership up front with Billy Painter and particularly Charlie Austin, who got quite a few goals in his previous few games. But really Austin didn't get much of a kick on Saturday and got taken off, substituted in the second half. Rovers were on top. Swindon did have chances, to be fair, but they didn't take them. Rovers defended pretty solidly. Pat Baldwin's made a big difference at the back. And when Rovers go to Tranmere next Saturday, they're going to have really plenty of choices because they'll have Danny Coles available after suspension. And I'd be interested to see whether Danny gets straight back in the team, because Steve Elliott and Pat Baldwin were very solid indeed at the heart of defence on Saturday. Also, I think a word has to be made of, for Aaron Lescott, who came back in after missing the previous 6 games with a groin injury. And really it just looked as though he'd not been out at all. He came back in, fitted in seamlessly. And one of the beauties of that as well was that it allowed Jeff Hughes to push forward from where he had been playing at left back up to his natural position on the wing. And he too had a really big impact. It's good to see the Rovers have now got sort of round pegs in round holes, and Paul Trollope's not really been able to do that with injuries and suspensions in the last few weeks. He's had to play a few people out of position, but there was a much better balance to the Rovers team on Saturday, and that I think will serve them in good stead as they look to go to Tranmere next Saturday.
And I guess that is the test, getting that consistency.
Yeah, because they've won, they've won the last few home games now, Rovers, but they've lost the last 5 away. And Tranmere are struggling this season, Big Star, and really a trip to Penton Park on Saturday does represent a good chance for Rovers to put their away woes behind them and get back to winning ways on their travels.
Tranmere have changed their manager already this season. Does that make a big difference?
Well, I mean, it can do, in that players will obviously give that little bit extra when a new manager comes in. Usually, but they got beaten again on Saturday by Southampton. I think it was Ricky Lambert scoring a couple again. And they are vulnerable at the moment. They're not a great side, Tranmere. They have struggled for most of the season. I mean, their problems under John Barnes earlier in the campaign were well documented. They're not a great side, and it's certainly a game that Rovers can go confident to getting 3 points from, I think.
Talking of Ricky Lambert, he is still banging in the goals for Southampton. Is that £1 million still looking like a...
Well, he could be on course for 30 goals this season. I mean, he said already, I think publicly, that he wants to try and beat the 29 he got for Rovers last season. The way he's going at the moment, I think he's up to something like 17 at the moment, and he's very much on course for it. I mean, he's a proven goal scorer. From Southampton's point of view, it's got to be £1 million very well spent. I think the last person to actually get 30 goals in a season for Southampton was probably Wyn Davies. I mean, I'm old enough to remember him. There's probably a lot of people watching this who won't be, but that was quite some time ago, so it shows the sort of impact he's made down there. Rovers as well have still got some money in the bank from that deal, and they're going to be looking to spend some of it, I think, in January. And now they've started winning again, Rovers at home. They need to do it away, but if they can get into the new year still in or around the top 6, which they are at the moment, and then strengthen with 2 or 3 new signings, which is what Paul Trollope says he wants to do, then, as he says, as the manager says, it could be a very interesting second half of the season.
Great, look forward to it. Thanks very much.
Cheers.